Hi guys, I'm George. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm hopefully going to give you just a brief lesson on how to find notes on the guitar and make it a little easier for you. This is for beginners. A couple tricks I learned. Some of them I actually just learned recently, and I've been playing for almost 40 years. Okay, first way of finding notes on your guitar is linear. So I'm going to take my top string here, and linear, just go in a line, right? So E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. So I just went E to E. Now, there's a way to find random notes here and figure that same thing out. Okay, and if I call it the rule of two, because it's your bottom two strings open. B and C on the second string, and E and F on the first string are the only two notes that don't have the sharp or flat in between. There is no F flat and there is no E sharp. There is no B sharp in it. So two strings, two notes, B and C, E and F. So I can take a random note here and make it easy. D on the second string on the third fret. Well, that's not part of my rule of two down there. So D to E is a whole step. Well, E and F there are my half step. So it's E, F and G is a whole step. G to A to B, B and C we said from down here are the half step. So, and then C to D. So I just went D to D. If I take my A note here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. I just went A to A on the fourth string because I know that B and C and E and F are the only two that have the half step. So that is the linear way of doing things. Now we're going to look at things horizontally. And for that, you need to understand the shift in a pattern here on tuning. And I'll show you why that applies. So I think most of you should know to tune a guitar, you take your 5th fret and right underneath it, so that is open, they tune. And then, but when you get to the, and it works all the way up for the top 4 strings, so 3 and 4 work, but when you get to 2 and 3, it doesn't work. You got to go down a half step there. Now imagine for a second there that the fifth fret tuning trick worked all the way around. On the 3rd string here, that's a C, so I would have to tune the 2nd string to a C to make that work. And because I retuned the 2nd string, that wouldn't work. I would have to then retune the E string to an F for that pattern to complete. And I'll show you why that's cool real quick. So this app is called the Circle of Fifths. You can download it on both iPhone and Android. Shows you, I'm in the key of A here. My major chord's in it. It gives you my relative minor chords, and then your diminished chord. And then you can unlock it and you can change keys. Now, how did that apply to tuning on the guitar? So your top string is an E, and underneath E is an A. Open string underneath that is a D. Open string underneath that is a G. And had that 5th fret tuning pattern worked, you tune the 2nd string to a C and then the 1st string to an F. And it's no coincidence that the strings guitar are like that and the Circle of Fifths is like that. So why is there that 2-string shift though? And the short answer is made chord playing easier. Open chords, bar chords. Can you imagine playing bar chords if your strings were tuned to the C and F? Like it wouldn't work. It'd be jazz, and we're not all jazz players. Okay. So real quick, how that applies to your fretboard. And if I go to my 5th string A, I know that right underneath it on the 4th string is a D. Well, if I go to my 5th string here is an A, I know that right underneath it is a D. If I go to my 7th fret on the 4th string, that's an A. Automatically I know underneath it is a D. And what's underneath the D string open is a G. But I'm on the third string and I'm going to the second, and I already showed you there's a shift. So it's not really a G anymore underneath that. I have to shift it up a half step. And then underneath the G, we said was supposed to be a C according to the circle of fifths. So I know that underneath my G is a C. Well, if you look up here, you know your G chord, right underneath your root note on a G is a C. And what did we say was underneath the C? Was an F. Okay, so I can take any random note on the guitar, that's a D, and I know that underneath the D, according to my open tuning, is a G. So second string and first string, D and G, it works just like open 4 and open 3. That's a C here on the 4th string on the 10th fret. Well, underneath C, I know there's an F. So when you memorize what your open strings are, and you understand that the C and F come into play, you can find any random notes on the string. If you know that this is an A, you know that that's going to be the D. So you don't just have to figure things out linear, but if you do want to figure things out linear, rule of 2 helps. B and C, E and F. And then your open string notes work anywhere on the fretboard, understanding the tuning shift on the 2nd and 1st string. I hope you got something out of that, and I hope makes you understand the fretboard a little bit better. My name's George. Have a great day.